Now let's come down to the left part. Along with the Microsoft Power BI, now why cloud is important? First, we need to understand it. So you are accessing this recording via Zoom. I'm able to share my screen and I'm able to present what I want to present. So how this process is happening, this is all connected via internet. And this internet is passing all this information via a cloud, right? Even once the session is completed, you can access the recording. So where that recording is stored, this recording is stored in the cloud. So wherever there is a data, if you want to store that data, you have to store it in a cloud. So if data comes, cloud will also come. That is the reason we would be learning cloud. In simple terms, I've explained it in very simple manner. Wherever there is a data, if you want to access the data, right? So if you keep some important data in one of the laptop, you cannot access that laptop until and unless you are owner of that laptop, or until and unless you know the username and password, right? And if some person, that laptop is kept in Mumbai, and if some person want to access that laptop or the information present in that laptop from Delhi, it is not possible, right? That information has to be on cloud. You can access cloud from any part of the world. So that is the importance of cloud. Accessibility and easily, I mean, you can easily grasp that cloud also. You can easily access the information from any part of the world, and you can easily retrieve that information. So wherever there is a data, there would be cloud. So that is the reason, along with reporting, along with business intelligence, we would be learning cloud also in these sessions going further. And which cloud? The Power BI is a product of Microsoft. And if you take an example of Microsoft, again in the cloud, Azure is the cloud which is present in the market. If you learn any specific tool, that tool has, I mean, you're learning cloud, you're learning reporting. So why not learn both similar products which are introduced by Microsoft? We can go with Amazon. I'm not saying we cannot learn Amazon. But if you learn Microsoft Azure along with Power BI, what benefit you will get is Power BI. I mean, what is Power BI? Power BI is a reporting tool. So you need to connect the data from certain different sources. So Azure has around 50 plus services which can be easily accessed in Power BI because both are product of Microsoft. So you can easily access Power BI or any other data coming from Azure directly to Power BI rather than AWS. I'm not saying AWS is not accessible. AWS is also accessible. But Power BI is easily accessible directly to Azure or directly to Power BI.
Sir, are you there? We are not hearing
You
you.
are not audible, sir.
Hello team, please wait 2 minutes. I will check with him, trainer.
My bad. I've rejoined. I guess there is some network issue at my end. Let me reshare it. Yep. Able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we were on this slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, anyways, we discussed about cloud. Anyways, we discussed about business intelligence, the reporting tool. Let's discuss about the role of a data analyst or a BI engineer is about. Now, if you take a look at this, understand this diagram, maybe I'll explain it. This is cloud. This is also cloud. Even this is cloud. Now, what the role of a data analyst is, he need to take a structured, unstructured, any kind of data. You cannot directly take this data and connect it to the Power BI, right? You cannot skip all these parts in between. Because if you get the raw data to the Power BI, it is very difficult to clean the data in Power BI. You can clean certain amount of data, but not end to end. So while going through process of connecting from the structured and unstructured to the Power BI, there are certain aspects in between which we need to understand, which we need to identify, which will help us to clean the data, transform the data, and then further dump it to certain location from where we can connect it to the Power BI. So these are all the important aspects in between. This in between components, you can call it as ETL, extract, transform, and load. So you need to do all these processes, and then only you can go ahead and connect your data to the Power BI. So all these services are on cloud, including your data. Data can be also from a cloud or cannot be also from a cloud. It can be on-premise. But while processing your data, while cleaning your data, you need to use all the cloud services. That is the reason we are going through all these clouds as well as reporting to cloud services. I'm not talking about only one specific service. There are multiple services which are available. So let me first explain what would be the course duration. This course would be of 4 months. I'll come to that previous slide also, but this course would be a first 4 months. Now, for this batch, we have already completed with SQL. It's closed. Now, closed means it doesn't mean that you'll be joining with Power BI. You'll not be able to access SQL. No, you will be able to access. The thing is, once Power BI and Azure is done, we will again start with a new batch where you will be learning SQL. If that is very late for you, we will also share the recordings of the current batch. You can access them also. If you're not even satisfied with that, you will be again added to the new batch. This is only for SQL. Now, anyways, we are starting with Power BI. Somewhere there would be around 35 to 40 sessions of Power BI. Now, why only 35 to 40 and how come it is 4 months? We have sessions from Monday to Friday, not on Saturday, Sunday, only on weekdays. Same time, 8 to 9:30 a.m. 1.5 hours. So once Power BI is done, along with Power BI, we would be learning all other tools. This is an example of Microsoft Fabric. This is your Fabric. Now, data scientist is not an important aspect for us, but data engineering tools are important. We will be learning this, we will be learning this, we will be learning this. Along with this, anyways, Power BI is part of it. Data warehouse is part of it. So what we would be learning in Power BI is end-to-end Power BI, including projects. Once the Power BI is done, we would be starting with Azure. Azure means Azure Data Factory. So what important components we would be covering in Azure? Mostly we would be covering Azure Data Factory because this is what a data analyst has to use on day-to-day basis. After this, there are some dependent services. These are all the dependent services. And at last, we would be learning basics of these three components or these three services. We are not going to learn in depth of Synapse, in depth of Databricks because these are not a part of data analyst role. These are more a kind of data engineering, pure data engineering. This is what, I mean, in Databricks or Synapse, you require more amount of coding. So that we are going to reduce. We are going to focus more on data factory, which is more a kind of drag and drop. Certain logic, certain formulas we have to use that we are going to cover. right? So this is the exact course duration. Now I'll also let you know what would be the costing. It is 27K. Now, why 27K? 27K is for one-time payment. Ideally, it is 30. If you make 3, 10, 10, 10. If you make one-time payment, it is 27. And if you make two payments, it is 28K. That means 14 plus 14. Now, in this batch, there are already people who have joined with SQL. So they will be continuing with us. Whenever who wants to connect, whenever who wants to learn this, they would be, I mean, this today's first session. There are still 4 more sessions we would be covering, which is totally free. So you can go through all 4 sessions, understand how am I teaching. From tomorrow itself, I'll be starting with components of Power BI, how Power BI works, what all cloud components are there. So there you will understand more in depth. So still you have 4 more days to decide. Once you're good with my understanding, my teaching, maybe you are able to understand, then you can continue further. This was all about course.